any children here today? Anybody want to claim to be a kid? Okay. I thought there might be a few of you. Because you know what I found fascinating about all the readings today? Every single one of them seemed to say something about being a kid, a boy, child, at some level. Now, how many of you have ever been told you're too young to do that? How many of you want to say, I'm never too young? How many of you can't wait to no longer be too young so you can start doing things that everybody tells you you can't do? Yeah, that's true, isn't it? That occasionally somebody will kind of step on your mojo a little and say, I can't do that. How many of you have ever said, I'm too young to do that, or I'm too little to do that? Even when you know it's something you could do and you try to use it as an excuse. Anybody out there ever tried to use their age as an excuse as to why they couldn't do something? Yep, works that way, doesn't it? So look, in the first lesson today, the prophet Jeremiah is told by God, I need you to go do this thing. And he says, oh, I can't do that. I'm just a boy. And God says, wrong answer. I don't want to hear that you're just a boy. I've told you to go do something. I've given you the talents to do it. No excuses. How many of you have ever had somebody say, I don't want to hear your excuse?
More than once.
More than once, huh? All right.
More than once.
More than once. I bet if we were to look behind us, we'd find some people who are nodding their heads that they too have occasionally been told, I don't want to hear that excuse. Then, of course, how many of you have felt God's presence most of your life? At all times, just sort of sensed God was around. That faith, Jesus, all those things have been important to you since maybe you were even in your mother's womb, as the song put it. I'll raise my hand to that one.
Yeah, I know what that means.
You know what that means too. Okay, yeah. I know a lot of you have had faith for almost as long as I've known you, which for a lot of you is all your life. So we have that. Now, how many of you compare? Because most of you probably how many of you lived in the same house, same town, pretty much all your life? How many of you out there live within 5 minutes of where you were born? Do you find that hard? Okay, yeah, listen to Layla. I'll tell you what, I live about an hour and 15 minutes from where I grew up. And I have a feeling that if I came back to that town, there might be some folks who wouldn't put a banner across Main Street, but touch it and say, welcome home, Ed Zelli. Or good luck today in the Super Bowl, or anything like that. That they might be a little surprised by what I'm doing and who I am. Anybody out there, I mean, you guys haven't had enough time on the planet yet. But anybody out there would say that if they went back to their high school town, or the town they grew up in, that some folks who never left might be a little surprised about who you are and what you've become. I think most of us, we would hope that who we were at the age of 18 or 6 is not who we are seen as now. You are 6. That's true. Are you different than when you were 5? No. Okay. Son, how about you're going to be 5 this year. Are you different than when you were 4?
I was 4 last year.
Okay. Every year's a new year, isn't it? Excellent. So, you know, because that happened to Jesus today. He goes home. They didn't put out a banner across the streets of Nazareth to welcome him home, but they were glad he was there because they'd heard there's a big superstar in their midst. Here he's back. Let's hear you preach, buddy. Let's see you do some miracles. And as soon as he shows up and gives a shorter sermon than I've ever given, because that was the sermon. Today the prophecy's been fulfilled in your hearing. And he sits down. Everybody's pleased up for a second, and then they start going, well, wait a minute. That's Joseph's kid. I don't think that's a compliment. That, in fact, who they believed him to be and who they just saw was a problem. And then it got worse as he kept talking. And instead of saying, it's so good to be back here in my favorite town, instead, let him have it. And their response to letting them have it was, oh, we need to change our ways. It was, no, you need to be thrown off a cliff. A little harsh. Yet I'm glad none of you have ever wanted to throw me off of a cliff here in Winona. There's no cliff. Thank goodness for small kids.
But there's hills in the Poconos.
There's hills in the Poconos. I'm staying out of the Poconos. You know, this is exactly, I bet, how Jesus felt when the temple raged. I have one more question for you, though. And St. Paul today said that when he was a child, he spoke like a child, thought like a child. And I want to know what children think. So can anybody define for me what love is? Okay, we'll go around. What is love? Caring. More time. Anybody else? Okay, what's love? Having a sister that holds my hand up. Awesome. What's love?
Helping people?
Helping people? Okay, yeah.
You should look it up in a dictionary.
I should look it up in a dictionary. Yes?
Or it could be cheese.
Cheese. Love is cheese. Okay? Yep, you love cheese. Okay, so there's something that you love. So love is cheese. I got it. Now I'm following the logic. Yes. Donuts, okay?
Bacon wrap scallops.
Lucas, what do you think love is?
Love is taking care and being nice.
Taking care and being nice, okay? Cole?
Video games.
Video games? Okay?
Being Conrad.
All right. Anything over there?
Bacon wrap scallops.
Bacon wrapped scallops. Somebody was listening to a sermon from a couple weeks ago. All right, good. I'm glad things sink in with this crowd. Yes. But, you know, it's interesting. None of you said what St. Paul said. That love is patient, kind. Does some of you came close with some of your words? Not bad.
Love is patient and kind. Right there.
Okay? And here's what I want you to do. Here's an activity to do this week, and the adults can do it as well. That all of us as Christians are called to live out love. So what I'm hoping that I'd like you to do is take that second reading today, and every time it says the word love, I want you to put your name there. And then ask yourself, how am I doing? So if you're saying, Ed is patient, Ed is kind, Ed is never envious, boastful, arrogant, rude. Ed never insists on his own way. How many of you think you would do pretty good with that checklist? How many of you think I just found what I need to work on for Lent? Lent is a season that is coming soon. So think about it. Go home and do that while you're waiting for the Super Bowl to start, as the pizza and chicken wings to be delivered, whatever it is you're going to do today. Yes, and you should love chicken wings.
I like Barbies.
So, what are you going to do today? What?
Watch the 49ers win.
While you're waiting for that, this is going to be your assignment for this week. Take the reading home, put your name. Ask God, am I doing this? Am I living up to this standard? And if there are places where that word doesn't feel right, and it's something you know you could change about yourself, make that what you take on for Lent. Don't give up chocolate. Don't give up something you want to take up in Easter. But do something that can change who you are as a person, whether you're 6 years old, 5 years old, or 90-something years old.
That's old. I know someone that's 80.
And let the church say, Amen.